Hey everyone, it's Molly the Kush RN, your host of Conversations with Kush podcast. We are checking in day 2 at NECANN, Minneapolis. Yesterday we had an incredible lineup of guests, and today is no segue from that. We have powerhouse women. I have sat down with so many incredible women today, including these two that are now gracing my couch. Adelia and Parisa from Blunt Brunch. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Yeah, super honored to have such a high-profile national brand and company come through and really showcase what women are doing in the space, city to city, coast to coast. So welcome. Yeah.
Thank you so much. We're excited to be in Minnesota.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been a while. All the ladies have been coming to our events and traveling. We're like, it's our turn. We got to come to you.
We're really trying to make our mark here, I think, and we're really trying to build communities. So
it is a beautiful community, and we definitely felt the vibe.
Good.
Everywhere we went. Yeah.
So welcoming.
Yeah. So Blunt Brunch, you guys have been around for a couple of years now. Tell me a little bit more about what you guys do and what you want to bring forward for women.
Yeah, go for it. Okay. So, I'll kind of keep it short on like the background of what brought me here.
Sure.
But then we'll dive into how we created this, because it really wasn't meant to be a business. It was really something in need. But, for me, it was, I'll always be a patient first. That's really where my journey began. I left corporate America because I ended up having an ectopic pregnancy, and literally my life changed completely. Sure. I didn't leave the house. I was in pain emotionally and physically. Right. And my now husband at the time, or boyfriend at the time, he said, try cannabis. I laughed. I'm like, naive, had no education, and I was like, so I could get the munchies? Like, what do you mean? What is it going to do to my life? And it changed everything. And I just became a true, like, if it could get me out of just the state that I was in of not wanting to leave my house, not feeling woman enough, and just finding myself again, I'm like, there's something behind this plant that I want to be a part of, and I want to help prevail it. And, it's been a plant that's helped me through a lot of it. And now we're actually going through IVF, and it's brought me to a better place where I've emotionally healed, and we're ready for this next chapter to grow. And so, that's really what started my connection with this plant.
Thank you so much for
insight.
Thank you so much for being brave and vulnerable and sharing that story, because it's my belief really that people's hearts and minds are changed when we can hear people's personal transformations through cannabis. And so
I think all of us are some connection, and Parisa's, we're going to hear her story, and it's just like all of us in some way are connected, whether it's personally, somebody we love, or somebody we've seen that it's just like, wow, there's something here.
Yeah, awesome.
Right. I mean, I think, yes, agree with what Adelia said. I think much of the cannabis industry has been pushed forward by the passion that we all have for the plant and its healing properties. And again, like Adelia's story, it was a medical situation that led me to cannabis through my daughter's journey. My daughter, who at the time was 14, was born with blindness and cerebral palsy, but was having a spinal fusion surgery and fell really ill from prescription opioids.
Sure.
So they permanently what is the word I'm looking for? Permanently paralyzed her stomach. So she eats from a G-tube now. Gotcha. And, our lives are a little bit less traditional in that sense. She's in what you call palliative care now.
Yeah.
And it was really thanks, though, to cannabis that allowed her to live a much more normal life in the sense that less pain, less suffering. My daughter was experiencing chronic dry heaving, and to see anybody in that state is just terrible. You don't want to see anybody suffer, but most certainly not somebody that you love with all your heart.
Right.
So as a desperate mom, I just was looking for some kind of, solution, and found cannabis. I saw that they were doing it in Colorado at the time. It was very taboo. There wasn't parents administrating cannabis to their children except for seizure conditions and cancer. And so, stepping out of the box and just being like, I'm going to try this. And it worked amazing. And it was like, I have to tell other people. Much like Adelia, I felt like just compelled to be part of the movement and share the knowledge that we had experienced and make it something more comfortable for parents to look at as an option rather than the last resort.
Yeah.
So, again, thank God for cannabis.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And if you don't mind, we talked offline a couple of days ago, and I just want to broaden out that view a little bit too, because you also were really vulnerable about opening up about your experience and what happened when someone reported you to CPS.
Oh yeah,
and all the implications of that, you know.
Right, because I do have a smaller child as well.
Yeah.
And so when they did come to our home, they asked my smaller child at the time, where is their mom's drugs at? And she's like, we don't use drugs because they made my sister sick. We only use medicine.
Exactly.
And, it's like plant medicine. And mommy keeps it locked up over here. And, so it really goes back to teaching your people around you,
100%.
whether that's, parents that are maybe against it or other people in your community, in your children, the right terminology, how we use it, how we're safely using it, and how we even talk about it,
Normalizing those conversations so that it becomes a normal part of our lexicon. It breaks down that barrier that we have within ourselves to be like, oh, I have to keep this quiet, and then we're able to open up and talk to someone else that might benefit from cannabis, or a doctor, or whoever else, our legislator, whoever else needs to hear it, right? So we can
all of the above.
Exactly.
It takes everyone to change this industry, right? So, but I think that brings us to how we started Blunt Brunch. Do you want to tell the story of how you were moving to?
Sure,
Yeah, please. I love it.
Yeah. So both of us, were already diving in. We both already had careers in this industry, but I came from California and I was moving to Arizona, and we were only social media friends. Sorry, I think I had
and these are the best friendships.
Yeah,
I swear.
And I was like, I'm moving. I'm like, I know her. I'll message her, and we started talking, and we're like, let's do something, and we're like, let's do a brunch. She invited some great women. I invited some great women, and this is coming out of COVID.
Sure.
So it was something that we all needed. I remember we cried, we laughed, everybody celebrated, and we were just, again, we left, and I think we called each other, and we're both like, that was amazing.
That felt so good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It felt so good to be blunt and just real and be in a safe space to do it with other colleagues, that were going through the same similar challenges and even celebrating certain things too during that time. So we're like, we got to do this again and we got to call it Blunt Brunch because we were having brunch and we were being very blunt and we're like, it's a cute name. We're marketers anyway. So we're like, let's call it something cute and do this thing.
Awesome.
And it started in Phoenix and then it became a really popular thing in Phoenix, and we continue to keep them intimate, only 35 women.
Okay, I like
and
this.
so there was a waiting list to get on, for the next brunch, and it just became a thing, and then people started asking us to come to other states and cities, and we're like, okay, we'll take this thing on the road, and it's just turned into this beautiful thing that neither Adelia and I had really planned to do. It was just something that we needed out of necessity ourselves.
Sure.
We needed the connection, we needed the safe space, and then it turns out so many other women like us needed that as well. So it's really been a beautiful organic journey of, now where we are today with the biggest gala that we host, right?
Yeah.
Well, and we need to foster the images of professional women using cannabis in a safe and healthy way and getting into community and fellowship with each other.
Exactly.
These are images that need to be fostered.
Yeah.
So
and we branched this out. Again, we had the brunches, then we had our collaborating with conferences that really could allow us to go to other markets. And then we had our co-eds, because even though we are focused on empowering women, we understand we need our allies' help and support to lift us up.
Sure.
And then,
We can't forget about the
we
men.
can't, we do.
Yeah.
And they have been true allies. And then it launched to go, segueing to our biggest event. Now every year, this is going to be our 6th. We've been in business for 5.
Yeah. Okay.
I can't believe, again, 5. This was not supposed to be a business. This was just supposed to be brunch, and now it became something we love.
That's awesome.
And so now every year we go to Vegas the day before MJ BizCon.
Okay.
400 to 500 women and our allies dress up to the nines.
Wow.
And we create so many cute themes. The theme this year is great.
Yes.
What is it?
Women on Fire.
Oh,
yes. It's
I
been a
love
fiery
this.
year.
Yes, exactly.
Man.
So we're thinking
Fire horse,
yeah.
right? Yes.
Reds, golds, all the things.
Oh my gosh.
And the ladies show up, and even the men are starting to realize, I got to dress good to come to this, And we let our hair down. We,
Love it.
finally just just relax. All these events were so focused, and we still network, but it's a different twist.
Right, it's a different feel.
It's a place where we can actually get dressed up, celebrate the feminine in us, right? That feminine energy, and just be surrounded by other boss ladies. It feels so empowering, and then we can kick off that week where we know we're going to be outnumbered heavily by men, and find those allies in the room, the men that support the women, and find the other women, so that way we don't feel so alone that week. It is can be overwhelming for a lot of people, and so we found that this is the best way to kind of break the ice and make people feel comfortable.
Sure, I love it. So you talked about taking it on the road and going to other places. What are you finding that the women, city to city, coast to coast, are needing aside from this fellowship? What are their challenges? What are they coming forward with? How can they be supported?
I think, again, it always depends on the market that they're in. But I would say, it's not necessarily answering your question, but what we're seeing differently is that we are loving coming to the East Coast right now. We know the challenges and hurdles that we have had on the West Coast, and we're hoping that by coming to these other markets, we can help educate them on what not to do. Yes, they hear about it, but they don't necessarily see what we've seen over the years. And it's it's in infancy still. It's still so new. The energy's high, and we're try not to make the mistakes that we have done or the states have done over on our side of the nation, Yeah.
And I would say every market has its own challenges. So we really try to curate our blunt topic that we have at each event, cater it to that specific market, or, listen to the pain points. What's going on? We have a better perspective, I think, of the national scope of the industry because of the fact that we get to get intimate with these ladies in different cities and states. And it's amazing to see, oh my gosh, okay, so this market's doing it right in this way, but maybe they needed XYZ, or there's always something we can be doing better, right? So it's great to be able to have that safe space again to talk about it, but also celebrate wins. It's not just a negative thing. We're not just boo, things are not good, we could be better. It's definitely a celebratory, positive event and brunch, and it's a place where we can celebrate our wins, because as entrepreneurs, it can be a lonely road, and it's hard to remember to celebrate your wins, because a lot of us are very highly driven, women. And so as soon as one thing is done, we're like, oh my God, we could have done that better. We're hyper, analyzing it and thinking about ways to tweak and make better for the next one. And it's nice to just take a breath and say let me celebrate this moment with women that will understand how challenging that probably was for me, and actually be happy for me,
And again, thank God for cannabis too, because that can really just take that spinning moment that we have up here and bring that down and allow us to drop down into our bodies and just be comfortable and live in that moment, right?
And be present.
Yes.
I know for myself, using cannabis is definitely a thing that helps me be more present as a parent, in every aspect of all the hats that I wear, right? But very true to our brunches, getting that moment.
I love it. Any other thoughts about Blunt Brunch? So I've heard you say it's a place for fellowship, but you also offer speakers, and what types of speakers do you like to showcase?
So we've actually launched our virtual membership. We listen to the audience, and we're always trying to make sure that we're finding ways to bring everybody together. And one of the biggest things is we can't travel everywhere. We would love to. So we launched our virtual membership, and we do 2 virtual events a month. And these topics are really now, again, about business development. Again, listening to the pain points that they're having and furthering these conversations. So we bring different speakers in every month. We've now even started talking about AI and these new things that they can start implementing.
Industries, but specifically how is our market adjusting to the new technology, and how are we using it, and how can we better use it, because I think those are exciting topics for anybody.
Yes, they are.
So we're just trying to diversify, add more, value adds for our ladies, and continue to find a place where we can connect in a virtual setting where we can be anywhere, Minnesota, Arizona, California, New York, you name it, and we can all connect and be together.
Yeah, people need that. And I think women especially, it's a tough road to go sometimes, and if we don't have sharp elbows, or even if we do, who wants to have their elbows out all the time, you know, like call in, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's just been a good way for us to stay connected. You know, again, we want to be in all the places, but it's hard.
yeah, right.
We have lives.
Yeah, exactly.
We have full-time, you know, careers and families and all the things.
I
so.
just talked about that with another person, like all the work that we do that's so unseen and like beyond, you know, behind the scenes and in service to other people, whether it be our children, our parents, our spouses, our partners, you know.
All the things,
you know, all
our
this-
fur babies.
Yeah.
Dozers at home waiting for you.
You know, we're happy to do it, but like we need our own spot sometimes too, and to elevate ourselves. So
Absolutely.
thank you for your beautiful intentional work and
Thank
curating a space for women to have that.
Well, thank you for amplifying our voices, you know, and all the work that you're doing in the medical side of things as well. You know, I really respect that. And I told you from the moment that we met virtually that how much that meant to me as a mother of a patient, you know, just thank you for your work and continuing to push this truth of the plant forward.
So aside from being in MJ BizCon December 1st, where can people find you? How do we tap in? Tell us where to go.
So if you want to get connected to Blunt Brunch, go to our website, bluntbrunch.com. It tells you all about our upcoming events, our virtual membership, you know, our virtual events that we do as well. Follow us on Instagram. We've been hit a couple times with the Instagram, so we're restarting. But it's at Blunt Brunch _, and that's another great way just to keep in touch with us.
LinkedIn,
Facebook, all the things.
Website.
Again, we're marketers. We're everywhere.
Yeah.
Multiple
As
touch
As
points.
you should be.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Love it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again, ladies. It's an honor and a privilege to be sitting down with such badass women that are just really making a mark, you know?
Setting the tone. We're going to do more.
For
More
sure.
collaboration.
I'm so excited for BizCon this year and really just excited to see what we can make and collaborate and how we can foster bringing those voices forward. So,
And shout out to NECANN for bringing us all together here
thank
today.
you. Good point.
Shout out to Mark and
Yes.
his amazing team
Yes.
for continuing to create spaces for us ladies
Right.
too.
Yeah.
So, and
They
making
are.
it make sense for us.
Yeah,
So we
and
can.
to the Minnesota Women's Cannabis Collective, right? Yes.
So welcoming.
Yeah.
loving art.
Yeah.
It made us feel like, okay, we're not stepping on it. You know, again, you never know when you're coming to new markets. And we're like, they were so welcoming. Let's do this. Let's take over the Women's Lounge together. And it was so beautiful.
And we can't wait to come back now.
Yeah, right? It's
We
fun
didn't even know this
here.
was going to be one of our prime markets, but we're like, we need to come back.
Yeah.
We throw some good parties. We know how to do it. So
Good energy, I would say. Most importantly.
Yeah, for sure. It's where it all hinges. Yeah. Thank you again, ladies.
thank
Okay,
you.
appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.
All right, that's day 2 of NECANN content. Stay tuned. Peace.